Hey, it's Emily, and this is going to be a quick book unhaul. So I've got a few books here that I will be getting rid of and unhauling, so I thought I'd share them with you guys. If you would like any of them, let me know. All else is maybe a contribution to postage, but aside from that, they're yours. I've got quite a few, so yeah, I guess we'll just go through them and yeah, enjoy. So the first one that I'm getting rid of is P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. I haven't actually read this. I have 2 copies of it, and one my friend gave me with a sentimental note in, so I'm keeping that one, and this one another friend was selling secondhand books and I got it, so I'm just getting rid of this one, and it's got an unbroken spine. I haven't read it, just don't need it anymore. Yeah, I don't need 2 copies. Next up we have The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. This I also have 2 copies of. I have a much nicer cover. This one came in a set of like 4 coming of age books that I bought in like 2017 on my first ever book haul on my channel, and since then I got a much nicer edition, and yeah, I don't need to. It's completely brand new. I haven't touched it. I think this is about like the world slowing down, like the rotations and the days getting longer, and there's also maybe a teen romance. I don't actually know. So the next one I'm unhauling is The Secrets of Vesuvius by Caroline Lawrence. I got this like cheap in a secondhand shop anyway, in a charity shop. I read it in January, gave it 2 stars, didn't need to keep it, don't have the rest of the series anyway, so just don't really need it. It's a book in the Roman Mystery series, so the reason why I read it was because I watched a TV show on CBBC when I was a child. Wasn't a fan in the end of like what was going on, and the ending, there was just like no ending. It just kind of stopped like midway through like a scene, and I was like, oh okay, like okay then, sure. Then we have Love at First Like by Hannah Orenstein. Didn't really like the main character in this, that's why I'm unhauling it. I think I gave it 2.5 stars maybe 2 stars. It was at the end of December and there's no point in me keeping this. I'm never going to reread it. I got it in a charity shop anyway, so but it's still in a pretty good condition, but it's just not for me. It's an adult romance, and it's got the fake dating trope, but it's not really done well. It wasn't for me, so that's why I'm unhauling it. It just was a whole faff to read, and I probably could have DNF'd it, but I pushed on through hoping that the character would realise how many mistakes she's made, but she didn't. She sort of did, but then was like, everything's fine anyway, like who cares if I made a mistake, and yeah, that's why I got rid of that one. I'm going to talk about this one really quickly because it is really short and it was like not a proper book, and it's Frothy Tales by Davy Spence. I read this in my first year of uni, so a couple of years ago now. I found it in a charity shop for like 50p or something, and it was a collection. It's a collection of like really short stories that like Costa sold, and it's this author who's gone to like different Costas and like saw people and written like a story inspired by them. So they're called like the Earl Grey Man with the Doctor's Bag, the Puzzling Latte Lady, Lots of Very Tall People, the Snappy Baby Lady, The Boy Who Had Us All Laughing. There's a load of just short stories in here that are inspired by people he's seen in Costas, and yeah, just don't need it. It was alright. Nothing too special. 10 Things We Shouldn't Have Done by Sarah Milanowski. Yeah, I read this ages ago. It must have been 2017. Maybe even before then. And yeah, maybe before. And it's about a 16-year-old girl who, I can't remember how it happens, but her and her friend like trick their parents into believing that they're staying with each other or something, and then they have like house parties for a year or something. They're living alone for like a year. I don't even know why. Maybe not a year, but a long time, and there's boyfriends, and there's, you know, like it says, from skipping school, throwing crazy party, and buying a hot tub, and harbouring a fugitive, and they're all just like, each chapter is like things they shouldn't have done. It was alright, and it was okay. I can't remember, I probably rated it really highly, because I used to rate books so highly, so I probably really did enjoy this at the time, but I don't need it anymore, and I probably won't reread it, so. Plus there's always the library. I'm also unhauling Crush by Eve Ainsworth. See, I read 7 Days by Eve Ainsworth and loved it, and I've met her and got it signed and it was really good. So when I met her I also picked up Crush, read this, and maybe I was just a bit too old for it. It's definitely a book for maybe like 13, 14-year-olds maybe. It was just a bit like underwhelming, like severely underwhelming in my opinion. It's about like a really rocky relationship, but the girl's like 13, I think. She's like not that old at all. Yeah, it's just a really, really like unstable, unhealthy, toxic relationship. That's why I remember I read it in like a day because I just wanted to get it over with. It was when I was commuting to London back in the day when I commuted. But yeah, it's about this guy and he's handsome and loving, everything Anna has always dreamt of. He wants her to be his alone, he wants her to be perfect, but at what cost? And it's just about her like being swept away in this toxic relationship, which I definitely wouldn't want to read now. Yeah, we have another sort of like young teen romance here, and it's 1 or 2 things I learned about love. I seem to be a fan of these like long titles. 10 things you shouldn't have done, 1 or 2 things I learned about love, like Diane Sheldon, is that how you say her name? I can't remember much about this, I just remember there being something so pottery in this. I've read this years ago. I only ever had 2.5 dates in my whole life, but even though I was a girl most likely to graduate high school without being kissed, still I thought I knew a lot about love. That was before I met Connor Bowden and found out how wrong I was. And yeah, I think it's just about their relationship, but I just don't need it anymore. I read it years ago and probably won't pick up again from that author just because I feel like I'm a bit old. Like I definitely feel like they're good for maybe like 13, 14-year-olds, but yeah, don't need that one anymore. Can get rid of that. So next up we have The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This I have 2 copies of, and the other one, like I said earlier, my friend gave me a copy with a little note on, so I kept that one. Plus this is the BBC adaptation cover, and I'm not a massive fan of adaptation covers. That's just my personal opinion, so definitely getting rid of this one. But I watched the film and really, really enjoyed it, so I definitely want to read the book at some point. I haven't read it or anything, so I'm not judging on the story, I just have 2 copies. Okay, so next up we have Chasing the Stars by Virginie Grimaldi. Sorry, I'm not very good at names. So this, I don't know if this is translated from French, but it's by a French author and it's set in Paris. And well, it starts off in Paris and it's about this mother-daughter relationships, and they go on like this road trip to avoid being like evicted from their house. It was just like not a fun ride for me. It wasn't that good. Everything was going wrong, like literally everything went wrong for this person. It was like as though the author had written a list of things that could possibly go wrong and was trying to tick them all off. There was one bit like I really enjoyed the friendship between one of her daughters and this, I think it was called Noah. I don't know, there was a boy that they met on this like road trip, and the friendship between the younger daughter and this boy Noah was really nice, and that was like the best bit of this this book, but everything else was a bit like, no thanks. Next up I'm unhauling The Truth About Lies by Tracy Darnton. I didn't not enjoy this, it was alright. I think I gave it like 3, maybe even 4 stars, but I just don't ever see myself rereading it. I can't even remember what it's about. Which proves how much it's stuck in my brain, but I've heard good things about other books by this author, so I'll probably still check out her stuff. I just don't feel like I need this. I think it's about a girl who has like a photographic memory and can remember literally everything, and there's a murder at her school, and she remembers how it happens or something, and she can remember this girl falling out her window, but she can't say, I don't know if she can't say, I can't even remember why. Yeah, I don't really know. I just don't really fancy it anymore. When We Collided by Emery Lord, and it's floppy. I read this also in first year of uni, and I can't really remember much about it. I feel like she goes to a town. Wow. Can't remember what it's actually about. Is it from 2 people's perspectives? I genuinely can't even remember what this is about, but I think I gave it like 4 stars on Goodreads, but you know, like I said, back in the day I used to rate books really highly, and I don't even know why, but I'll probably never read this, and that's fine by me, so if anyone wants that, they can have it. I'm also unhauling The Last Summer of Us by Maggie Harcourt. I mean, I can't remember anything bad about this, just nothing like stood out for me. I remember buying this because of the cover, because I thought it was really pretty, and it's about like the last summer of these friends living together before, I think it's before they go to university, before they grow up and their lives split and they go on like a road trip or something. and one of the friends drives and his car is called the Rust Bucket or something. Like there's a playlist in the middle. Yeah, I mean I don't think it was bad, it was just like fine. Probably won't reread it, and I feel like someone else might appreciate it a bit more and it can go to like a better home, so yeah, that's why I'm getting rid of that one. I also have Bookshop Girl by Chloe Coles. This took me, for the size of it, it took me I think about a month to read because I was just not into it at all. It is signed by the author, as the sticker says, like up the top there, she's written her name. It was like, I feel like it's probably a better book for maybe 13-year-olds, younger teens. I liked like the feminist aspect of it, but the character just got on my nerves. Like the main character was very self-centered and, you know, almost ruined friendships with her like closest friends because of like the stupid things she was doing, and I know it was probably part of her like story and her learning journey and all that, but like it was just a bit much, like a bit too, I don't know, it just wasn't for me, and I probably won't continue the series, and if I do I'll get out from the library, like that's fine by me. And then here we have The List by Siobhan Vivian. I'm not the biggest fan. It was okay, it was good, like it was a good contemporary, like that was it really. It's about a list that this school puts up, which I think is just really wrong anyway, but once a year this list is put up with the ugliest and the prettiest girl in each of the year in high school, and then it follows the perspective of different people, like some people who were on the list, or like the sisters of people on the list who also go to school and how it's affecting them. Like we follow some of the prettiest, some of the ugliest girls who are named the ugliest girls, and it's about their journey and like how their view of high school is tainted by this list. And it was quite good, and I probably might reread it. I probably won't ever reread it actually, but I have the audiobook, so I could always just do that. That can go. And then we have Cuckoo by Karen David. If you look on my Goodreads, I gave this 5 stars back in like Booktubeathon 2017. Yeah, every time I think back on it, I just don't think of it as a 5-star read at all. So I don't know why I gave it 5-star, but like I said, I used to rate things highly. And it's a massive font, and like some of it is in script because it's about this young actor. And he's grown up in a troubled household. I think he has problems with his dad, and so he like becomes homeless or something. But yeah, and he's like a well-known young actor from being on like a soap opera or something, and but then something happens with money and he's on the street. And yeah, I don't know, it was okay, but there's nothing too special about it as far as I remember, and I just don't really need it. But it's a nice floppy paperback. I think that's the only reason I've hung on to it for so many years, is because it's a nice floppy paperback. So these ones that I'm unhauling, I'm sort of unhauling them. I'm not unhauling them just yet, it's a series and I kind of want to read the last one first. It's like a series of 4 and I've read the first 3 and didn't like them, but I still want to read the 4th one because I've put so much time and effort into the series so far that I'm determined to read them anyway. And that is the Falling Fast, or the Flynn series by Sophie Mackenzie. It has Falling Fast, Burning Bright, Casting Shadows, and then Defy the Stars, which is on my TBR shelf. I got them in a set. They're about 89p each or something, and brand new, but they're just like definitely a younger teen romance, and I read them a bit too late because I've heard good stuff about Sophie Mackenzie's other stuff. Sorry, I just realised that you can see like the hair dye under my nails, but hey ho, sorry about that. But yeah, I just don't really like them that much. They're just very cringy, and to be honest, at the end of the 3rd one, it could have ended there. Like, I don't know why there's a 4th one, because I was very happy with the ending. Well, wasn't happy but like with it, but like I was satisfied with the ending at the end of Casting Shadows. But apparently there's another one. The first one was okay. It follows a girl who plays, she's a character in Romeo and Juliet, and she goes to a girls' school and they partner with the boys' school, and she sort of falls in love with this guy called Flynn, who's playing the role of Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. But then he has sort of a troubled life, problems at home, and then it kind of develops that storyline as well as their romance, and their romance is rocky. I mean, to make all these books, it's not perfect all the time. I don't really want them after I finish Defy the Stars, and I'm hopefully going to read that very soon. But yeah, they can go. And finally, the last book that I'm unhauling, I've actually already unhauled. I sent it to Rebecca 2 days ago and she's already got it, which is very speedy. And that is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I read this 2 summers ago, no, summer of 2019, and it was fine. And I just probably won't ever read it again, and I thought she would appreciate it more, and I hope she does. I don't really have any inclination to read any more by Shirley Jackson, like that was fine for me, but it was a bit like, yeah, whatever. It wasn't bad, but yeah, I didn't really fancy it again, so I ditched it. Soz. That's the last one on this list. So yes, if you do want any of these books, do just message me or comment down below and I'm sure I'll send them off to you. But thank you very much for watching this unhaul, and please give it a like and subscribe if you're new around here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon with a new video. Bye!